Hey students, so today we are going to discuss the topic of particle motion and energy. And the first subheading is temperature and how it affects the motion of particles in a substance. So, what is temperature? It is a physical quantity that expresses the attribute of hotness or coldness. Temperature is measured with a thermometer. It reflects the average kinetic energy of the vibrating and colliding atoms making up a substance. So basically, temperature is like how hot or cold something is, and it is measured using a thermometer. Okay, you can tell how hot or cold something is by measuring its temperature. The temperature of a substance depends on the kinetic energies of the particles that make up the substance. If the substance is hot, the particles will tend to have more kinetic energy and to move faster. If the substance is cold, the particles will tend to have less kinetic energy and to move more slowly. The particles are constantly in motion even if the substance does not appear to be moving. So basically, the core rule is that the temperature reflects the average kinetic energy of the particles inside a substance. And here's kinetic energy means the speed, okay? So particles are always moving even if the object looks perfectly still. So particles have more energy and move faster, and cold substances have less energy and move slower, okay? Thermometer. Thermometer measures temperature with the help of a liquid present inside the thermometer, which consists of particles called atoms. When the temperature of the liquid increases, the particles gain kinetic energy and move further apart. When the particles move further apart, the volume of the liquid increases slightly. This change in volume causes the speed to rise up the small tube inside the thermometer displaying the temperature change. So basically, thermometer contain a liquid made of atoms, and when the temperature goes up, the liquid's particle gain energy and move further apart, causing the liquid to expand and rise. Okay? So the next one is average kinetic energy. Temperature is related to the average kinetic energy of the particles in a substance. Even when a substance is at one temperature, its particles are not all moving at the same speed. So basically, you have to first understand average kinetic energy. So even if a substance is at one steady temperature, its individual particles are not all moving at the exact same speed. Some are fast and some are slow. Okay, so temperature only tells us the average energy of all those particles combined. Okay, for example, the number of particles moving faster or slower in two samples of nitrogen gas. The colder sample has some fast moving particles, but the hotter sample has more. The hotter sample also has some slow moving particles, but the colder sample has more. So basically, the bar graph, look at this diagram. So basically, the bar graph compares nitrogen gas at a cold temperature, which is 25 degrees Celsius, and a hot temperature which is 538 degrees Celsius. So in a colder sample which is 25 degrees Celsius, look, most particles are moving slower, blue bar which is, but a few are still moving fast. Okay? And in the hotter temperature which is 538 degrees Celsius, most particles are moving faster, which is orange bar. You can see that. But a few slow ones still exist. Okay? So the note is that substance temperature depends on the average kinetic energy of its particle. The temperature does not depend on the total kinetic energy of the particles. So basically how to calculating average kinetic energy and how mass affects speed. So how to calculate it? Like the average of a group of values is also called the mean. To calculate the average, add all the values in the group together, then divide that sum by the number of values in the group. Okay? For example, if there are 100 particles in a substance, to calculate its average kinetic energy at a particular temperature, we must take its mean or average by adding all the particles' kinetic energy and then divide it by 100. The resulting answer will be the average kinetic energy. Okay, so we can say that the temperature does not depend on the total kinetic energy but on the average kinetic energy. So the math rule is that to find the average, add up the kinetic energy of all the particles, then divide by the total number of particles. Okay, so temperature or average kinetic energy depends on mass and speed. Temperature and average kinetic energy of the molecules in a pure substance depends on our average speed, which depends on the molecular mass of a given substance. So, for a given temperature, light molecules will travel faster on average than heavier molecules. So, basically, average kinetic energy relies on the two main things, which is the mass of the particles and their speed. Okay, light versus heavy molecules, like at the exact same temperature, lighter molecules will travel faster on average than the heavier molecules. Okay, because heavy particles need more effort to move, like they move slower to keep the same energy level as a fast light particle. Okay, as we remember that the temperature of a substance depends on the average kinetic energy of its particle. For a pure substance, the average kinetic energy of its particle can be determined by the average speed of the particles and the mass of a single particle. Like this is because in a pure substance, all of the particles have the same mass. Therefore, always remember that the mass and speed of the individual particles in a sample are not affected by the total mass of the sample. Because in comparing two pure substances whose particles have the same average speed can have different temperatures. The temperatures are different if each substance is made of particles within a different mass. Okay? So basically, we are saying that the mass and speed of individual particles are not affected by the total size or total mass of the entire sample. Like if two different substances have particles moving at the same average speed, they can still have different temperatures if their particles have different masses. Okay, so let's discuss the example. For example, consider two containers, each consisting of two different types of gases having the same average speed but different masses. Look at the diagrams. Container A and container B. Okay? So, these two bottles have same number of atoms in them, even the average speed is same with the particles inside are moving and colliding with each other or the container. The only difference is the mass of a particle. Like as you guys can see that one particle is smaller than the container B particle. Okay, so the mass of the particle present in container A is lighter than the particle's mass present in container B. This can lead to temperature change. Okay, okay student, here we have some activity. Okay, consider a basketball. According to the information above, which statement is the correct about it? If the basketball is provided with cold temperature, then its particles or atoms move slowly. The atoms or particles of basketballs are moving even if the ball is still. The temperature of the basketball depends on the total kinetic energy of its particles. Yes, option A and B is correct. Why? Because particles are always moving even in a still object. Okay, which is answer B. And also, cooling it down makes them move slower, which is A. So, while the temperature depends on average kinetic energy, not total, which is C. C is wrong, okay? So, imagine a substance consists of same kind of 500 particles. Its average kinetic energy will be described as total kinetic energy of the particles with highest speed total kinetic energy plus 500, sum of kinetic energy of all the particles divided by 500. Yes, option C is correct. Because to find the average, you must add up to the kinetic energy of all the particles and divide by the total number of particles. Okay, so here are the next questions, and you have to do these questions based on the previous explanation that I told you. So write your answer in the comment section and also your reasons behind them. Okay. So how does particle motion affect temperature? States of matter and their particles motion. Okay, as we have discussed we have three states of matter, which is solid, liquid, and gas. Okay, so with reference to section F, we have learned the three states of matter, which is solid, liquid, and gas. So the following diagram represents the arrangement, movement, and energy of particles in each state of matter. Like you can see that the solid particles are closely together, whereas liquid particles are not so close and the gas particles are free to move. Okay, so are there other states of matter? Yes. Another common state of matter is plasma, because plasma is formed inside some types of light bulbs and it appears during lightning strikes. Also, the sun and the other stars are made of plasma. So, you have probably seen plasma without even knowing it. Okay, like besides solid, liquid, and gas, there's fourth common states called plasma. Okay, so melting point. Heating a substance leads to an increase its thermal energy. When the particles in a solid have more thermal energy, they vibrate more, which raises the temperature of the substance. Once the substance reaches a certain temperature called its melting point, the substance can begin to change state, which is solid to liquid. Okay? Okay, let's take the basic example, which is ice. Like when we heat the ice, it changes its states. Like ice, when heated, melts it into liquid, which is water. So when the solid becomes liquid, the substance particles remain together, but instead of being packed tightly, they are now able to pass or slide past one another. Okay, these reasons lead to change of the states of the substance. Like the liquid takes the shape of the container because of their particles properties. Okay, and if the liquid is placed in a glass, it takes the shape of the glass. If poured in a glass box, it takes the shape of the box. Okay, so the next one is boiling point. Like when we heat the liquid, the particles begin to slide past one another more and more quickly. And the temperature of the substance goes up. When the temperature reaches the substance boiling point, the particles have enough thermal energy to begin moving far apart in different directions and escaping the liquid, therefore transforming the substance from liquid to gas state. Okay, let's take the basic example. Like when water is heated, its particle becomes vapors, which can be seen escaping as a steam, which is gas state. Okay, so the next one is evaporation. Okay, evaporation is basically, you can say that, liquid to gas without boiling. Okay, so liquid do not need to be heated to their boiling points in order to change into gases. Like in fact, some of the liquids around you may be slowly changing into gases. The particles at the surface of a liquid can vaporize and forms a gas through a process called evaporation. Okay, so the basic rule is that liquid do not need to reach their boiling point to run into a gas. So how it works? Because particles right at the surface of the liquid can break free and turn into gas. This process is basically called evaporation. Okay? So take an example, like when you mop a floor, the leftover wetness dries up on its own because the water particles evaporate into the air. Okay? So The next one is sublimation, which is, you can say, the disappearing act. Okay. So when a solid changes state, it often becomes a liquid. In some cases, however, solid changes state and directly becomes gases, escaping the liquid phase. This change is called sublimation. So basically, we can say that normally a solid melts into a liquid before becoming a gas, but in sublimation, a solid skips this liquid stage and turns directly into a gas. Like you can say dry ice. When dry ice warms up, it never melts into a liquid puddles, but it turns straight into a smoky gas. That's why it is called a dry ice. Okay? Okay, so the next one is gas pressure and how does it get affected by the particles motion. So as we have learned about gaseous state where particles follows any random direction till they collide with each other or the walls of container, which results in the change of direction as shown in this figure. The speed of their movement depends on the temperature provided. Higher the temperature, higher movement and higher collision. At room temperature, the average air particle travels at speed around 500 meters per second. Okay, so basically, gas particles move rapidly in random direction, like they constantly crash into each other and bounce off the walls of their container. Okay, so every time these particles hit the walls of the container, they exert a tiny push, which is, you can say, force. This massive amount of constant heating is what created gas pressure. Okay, so this high amount of collision among the particles and the wall of the container is what generates the gas pressure. This phenomena helps keep the basketballs or beach balls firm. Okay, a gas pressure depends on both the total force exerted by its particle and the area that the force is spread over. The more force the particle exerts over a given area, the higher the gas pressure. Okay, so this internal pressure is exactly what keeps, you can say, basketballs or beach balls and balloons blow up and firm. Okay, for example, consider the box filled with gas shown in this figure. Okay, if we increase its temperature above room temperature, it will increase its particle motion. The higher the motion, the higher the particle begin to collide with one another and the with the walls of the container, which means they're exerting more force on the walls according to the space of the container, which leads in increasing gas pressure. And because of this gas pressure, the balloon feels filled with gas. Okay? So So we can say that basically that gas pressure depends on the two main things, like the total force and the area, like how hard and how often the particles hit the surface and the size of the surface they are spreading that force over. Okay. So the next one is liquid pressure. Like gases, solids and liquids also exert pressures. Liquid pressure is a force a liquid exerts on an object that is submerged in a liquid. Liquid pressure depends on the depth of the object. Some examples and application of liquid pressure are like a deep sea fish swimming 1 kilometer below the ocean surface experiences nearly 100 times as much liquid pressure as a fish near the surface. And the wall of the dam is built thicker at the bottom to withstand higher pressure of water. Okay, and pressure is applied to inject medicines while using syringes, and when we open the tap we find that the water gushes out through great pressure. Okay, so relationship between gas pressure and average kinetic energy. Okay, as we know that the faster the particles move, the more the force they exert on the wall of the container. Faster particle possesses high kinetic energy in them. Therefore, recalling the relation of kinetic energy and thermal energy is. Okay, so we can say that the faster particles have higher kinetic energy. When you get heat a gas, it creates a direct chain reaction, which is the first one is high temperature, leads to high average kinetic energy of particles, which leads to high movement, high collision with the walls, and then high pressure generated. Okay, so comparison between mass sizes and amount of particles with gas pressure. Okay. The higher the mass or size of the particles, the more kinetic energy it has in comparison to lighter particles, even if they are moving with same speed. Therefore, the heavier the particles is the greater force it exerts on the wall of the container on collision. So basically, adding more gas particles to a container raises the total energy and causes a higher number of collision against the walls, which is higher the mass or size leads to higher the average kinetic energy, higher force exertion on walls, and high pressure. Likewise, the more the particles present, the more average kinetic energy the gas has, resulting higher force exertion lead to high pressure, which is higher the amount of particles, higher the average kinetic energy, high force exertion on walls, and high pressure. But in cases when two containers are filled with different types of gases in such a way that the container A has huge particles with medium speed and container B with smaller particles but high speed. In such a case, the pressure exerted by both the gases are same. Okay, so basically we're saying that the gas pressure depends on both how heavy the particles are and how fast they fly. Like because of these two completely different gases can end up exerting the force same pressure. Like you can say that the container A filled with large heavy particles moving at a medium speed and container B filled with small light particles moving at a high speed. So the extra weight in container A balances out the extra speed in container B, resulting in equal pressure on the wall. Okay.